So I saw this tweet yesterday by Overtime. They posted it. Who has the most to lose these playoffs? I kind of interpreted it as what player or what specific team has the most pressure on them going into the playoffs this season. I interpreted it differently maybe than they posted it, but it inspired this. I have created an entire tier list, and I'm dedicating it to the teams that are the most under pressure. The playoffs are underway now, so of course we're here to tier list NBA teams that are under the most pressure going into said playoffs. All right, as you can tell, we have the tier list already set up with the tiers. We have Freddie Mercury at the top. Obviously, Queen made the song Under Pressure. Then we have time running out, which means like your time to have that core together is running out, or your time to win a championship is running out. Maybe your best player is on the trading block soon, or maybe there's some moves that need to be made, you know what I mean? Not in a rush. The team that's just here, they're just here, you know? Nothing's really forced. It's if they win, they win. If they don't, I don't think anybody really picked them to win at all. Just here to have some fun. That's mostly for the younger teams here. There's one specific team that comes to mind. You'll see that in a minute. But it's just teams that are just here to have some fun. A team that doesn't have much to lose. And then why are they even here? That goes for one specific team that I was kind of rooting against yesterday as I record this video. You'll see that in a minute. But it's for a team that it's like, how did they stumbled their way here, essentially. This team stumbled their way here. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you are new. As you can also tell down at the bottom, it's 9-1 because the second play-in game hasn't happened yet to determine the 8th seed. So I just decided to put the 8 and the potential, well, the 8 and now the 9 here. You know what I mean? And it's ordered exactly how you would imagine. The bottom of the Western Conference goes to the top, and then the bottom of the Eastern Conference goes to the top. We are starting off with the Dallas Mavericks, who got a big win last night against Sacramento. Sacramento disappointed me beyond belief. Awful. But Dallas, why are they even here? They have nothing to gain and they have nothing to lose. Jesus, it's lagging. Yeah, Dallas has nothing to gain or really lose being here. I don't think they're going to win the first round matchup against OKC, which is who they would have to see if they were to win the second play-in game. I don't even know how they got here. Their team's 98% injured and dead. Anthony Davis was smack-talking some Kings fans yesterday. That was funny to see, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I don't think Dallas really even... I didn't even think they should be here, if I'm being real with you. I still think that 4-game limit should be there to trigger the play-in. If you are away, or if you're 4 games behind the 8 seed, there's no play-in required. I still think they need to bring that rule back, in my opinion. But as for right now, Dallas is just here. I don't think there's any pressure on them to win. They've been pretty injured and bad all season. So why should that change suddenly come playoff time? The Memphis Grizzlies are here. I'm going to have them as not in a rush. Simply because everything was going pretty well. Like, they were the 3 seed at one point out west, maybe around mid-season. And I didn't think they would stay at the 3 seed, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I didn't think they'd damn near fall out of the playoffs in general. And that almost did happen. And I don't know what to say about this team, man. You fired Taylor Jenkins. People said he was the developmental coach and not a team that can win games. Or not a coach that can win games. That's fine. I'm fine with the Tomas Ilaso. I forget how to pronounce his name already. Either way, it's just weird. This core of Jaren, Ja, and Bane. It's like it's a fine big 3. I wouldn't say it's a big 3, though. You know what I mean? It doesn't blow teams out of the water. They're 3 great players in their own right. But I definitely am wondering where the future is with the Grizzlies. Maybe that's a different video. Like, what is the future of the Grizzlies? I think they're a playoff team, but they are not a finals contender. Golden State Warriors. I'm going to put them in time is running out simply because their championship window isn't that big. It's capitalized or, don't at this point. You have Steph Curry, who's slowly approaching the retirement age, and Jimmy Butler, who's also slowly approaching retirement age. I know they're still going very strong, and these guys got years left in the tank, but... yeah, as championship level guys and as 1 and 2 options, there's definitely a time limit on that. That's why they only gave Jimmy Butler, a 2-year extension. They know that this window isn't very big. It's capitalized now, or I don't know what's going to happen. And they can. They definitely can. They have the facilities to make it to a finals. They need to put it together. But I think that this is a team that can make a finals run if it really, really works out in their favor. And yeah, it's just they're an old core. That's the only reason they're in time's running out. It's an older core. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm going to put them in time is running out as well. Julius Randle hits free agency, I still believe. With Julius Randle hitting free agency, you're not sure if he's going to get an extension or not. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have an extension. I can go check that right now. 1 second. Yeah, so Julius Randle has a player option for 25-26, which means he may or may not pick that up. He may, hit free agency and say, I can make more than 31 mil. I don't know if he would or wouldn't, but if he's hoping for a long-term payday, he could certainly opt out and make a case that, hey, you guys got to pay me an extra 3 years or something like that. Look at without Julius Randle, I don't know what this team looks like. That's not me saying Julius Randle's the end-all, be-all, fix-all. Hell no, it's Julius Randle. But you look at the top contracts, Gobert, oh my God. It's actually a front-loaded deal, which I guess is good in hindsight. The fact that they front-loaded it. Ant-Man, he's getting paid his money. That's fine. He's the one guy. He's the guy. Nas needs his extension. Jaden McDaniels got a big bag to be fine. He has spurts of amazing play, and then he has spurts of just being fine. I don't know what the future of this team is, but with Julius Randle on the team, time is definitely running out to win it, because at the end of the day, if Julius Randle decides he wants to pack his bags and dip at the end of the season, there's almost nothing they can do about it. Sorry, I'm trying to get the Samsung ad off. It won't leave. Fine, I'll just make myself bigger so that way you can't see the logo then. Screw Samsung. No free ads on my channel, bud. Clippers. They're also in time is running out. This is a team that I expect to be sellers at midseason, and I'm very proud of what they've done this year, all things considered. I am very proud of what the Clippers have been able to do, making the 4 seed without Kawhi, who's only played 30-some-odd games this year, without Paul George, who left in free agency. With the big three of Harden, Kawhi, and Zubac, this team has put together a really, really amazing stretch to end the season. I think the last 22 games, they finished with like 18 wins. They sprinted through the finish line, and deservedly so. Now they're getting home court in their first-round matchup. So I kind of wish the best for this team, honestly. I would love to see Harden have a good playoff series, which hasn't happened in a long time. And I would love to see Kawhi get a healthy playoff run, which also hasn't happened in 6 years, it seems. So, I don't know. I would like to see the Clippers do really well. I'm kind of pulling for them these playoffs. But as for right now, I think time's just running out, because this core, Kawhi and Harden, it's like, how long can you stake your future on two guys who are 35, 36, you know what I mean? Denver. They're Freddie Mercury, man. Michael Porter Jr. literally said before the season that he thinks that this was the last ride, and they're going to have to shake some things up after the season. If that's what he believes, sure. Sure. I don't know what's going to happen with the whole new coaching staff and the new GM that's going to have to come in, because there's going to be a lot of dressing up going on in the offseason. I don't know what that's going to be like. I don't even know what the new GM is going to be like. Is the new GM going to be another Calvin Booth type that's like, hey, we need to get some youth in here? Or is he going to be the aggressive type GM that comes in on day one and goes, all right, Christian Brown, Michael Porter, who wants him? I need an all-star over here. I could see it going either way. But as for right now, with the core they have today, time is very much out on this core. Like, the window's still open, don't get me wrong, but this core is, I think it's on the fringe of getting broken up. We'll just have to see what the new GM says, obviously. But as for right now, I think they are very much under pressure. The Lakers I have in... It's a tough one for the Lakers. It really is. I'd say time is running out, but that's simply because they have LeBron James. If you're talking about the Luka core, that extends for a while. Not Luka core like on TikTok, how they're like such and such. You've seen that trend, I guarantee it. It's like LeBron is running out of time, 100%. The rest of this team, not really. Like, Luka's still got years left in his prime. And it's not like he's running anytime soon. I think they're going to extend him, So I think it's the LeBron Lakers running out of time, but the Luka Lakers, it's just starting. So it's kind of weird with the Lakers, because it's two different timelines in one. You have a younger guy who's dominating right now in Luka, and an older guy who could still dominate in LeBron. I don't know. I think they are running out of time, though, to win with LeBron. And without LeBron, you wonder who's the second star there, because I don't think Austin Reeves is a B option on a championship team, no offense. But you get what I mean? It's just more so about LeBron's timeline running out more than it is about Luka's timeline running out. I hope a Lakers fan would understand that rationale, but asking a Lakers fan to understand rationale is like asking an idiot to not bump his head on the wall. Houston Rockets, not in a rush. They're here. Young core, very fine. Amen. Freddie is a little bit older. He could hit free agency, though, and I don't think they're really worried about that. But, like, this core with, like, Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, Alperen Sengun, Jalen Green, there's time. There is time here. And they're getting better. Every year it seems that this team is getting just slightly better. I don't think there's real pressure on them to win it all this season. I don't think anyone thinks they are going to win it all this season. I would love to see them win round one against Golden State. Obviously, in my predictions video, I did not pick them to beat Golden State, but boy, would it light up my world if they did. But overall, if they go home round one or they go home in the conference finals, They built a lot this season, culture-wise, team-wise, player development-wise. They've grown a lot. I've just been impressed with Houston this season. Shout out to Ime Udoka, Celtics legend Ime Udoka. OKC Thunder, they are Freddie Mercury. And I got into a Twitter argument, I think in that same thread, about player or teams with the most pressure to win. And me personally, I said the Thunder have a lot of pressure on them to win. And somebody said, well, they're the youngest team in the league. They are one of the youngest teams in the league. Don't get me wrong, maybe the youngest. But at the same time, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's going to be 27 in like 2 months. Okay? So he's going to head toward his prime. 27 isn't old. That's in his window. That's perfectly where you're supposed to win your first championship at, is like 26, 27. The iron is hot for the Thunder right now. And you think about last season. Last season, in the playoffs, it got exposed. They had holes in their roster. They couldn't defend the paint, and they couldn't rebound worth a damn. Gafford and Lively were giving them hell, and Luka was giving them hell. So what did they do? They brought in another elite defender to guard a Luka type in Alex Caruso, and then they addressed that rebounding and paint defense issue with Isaiah Hartenstein. So they addressed the only issues that they had in their roster last season, which means that they think the window's right now too. They think the window's open, and they got to strike while the iron's hot. And I get it. They're a very young team. But you want to win now because eventually things are going to get real expensive over there. J-Dub's going to need a new deal. Chet's going to need a new deal. Cason Wallace is going to need a new deal. A lot of these guys are Jalen Williams, J-Will, who's had a really good stretch of games when like Shai and them don't play. But either way, it's like the time is now. And I'm not saying that as in they won't next year, everything's over next year. No. But you want to strike while the iron's hot because once Chet and J-Dub both need to get paydays, I'm not sure who's sticking and who's going. How deep is Sam Presti and them willing to go into the luxury tax? I don't know, because they wouldn't go into the damn luxury tax with James Harden and them back in the day. I don't know. Miami Heat is just here to have some fun. They're a young team, they're fighting for an 8 seed, and even if they get the 8 seed, oh well, they get to face the Cavs. Congratulations. You get to be the last team muddled, or you get to be the first team muddled by the Cavs on their way to a championship, or at least try to. But this season, the Heat have shown that they accumulated a good amount of young talent. Khalil Ware, Pele Larson, guys like that. Khalil Ware especially has taken leaps and strides this season. He's been amazing, and Bam's been pretty good since he moved to the 4. In my opinion, just watching the games, Bam looks better than he did to start the year. So the Heat have definitely taken some strides this season. Like I said, they've accumulated plenty of young talent, and they're going to continue to grow, hopefully, for their sake, not for my sake. I'm a Celtics fan. Me and Eric Spoelstra don't get along. But with the amount of young talent they have and the amount of real pieces that they have, I think that this team has done a really good job this season of just getting here, to be honest with you. Getting to the playoffs for this team would be kind of an impressive feat for a team that at midseason looked like they were doomed for failure with Jimmy Butler pounding the table to get out. Atlanta, why are they even here? I don't know. I don't know what their future plan is either. It's another one because I'm pretty sure it's new front office this season maybe. So I don't know what's the plan with Trae Young. Is Trae Young going to stick, or is Trae Young going to be having to learn Orlando Magic, or is he going to have to go somewhere else? I don't know. I don't know where Trae Young is going to go after this season, or what the plan is down the long term. But what I do know is that they also have some young talent as well. Zach Risache obviously comes to mind. He's been so good recently. Not in the play-in game. Wasn't that good in the first play-in game. Still got another chance. Like Dyson Daniels has looked sharp, and they play a fun brand of basketball. My biggest question mark, though, is really what is Trae Young after this season? What is Trae Young? Is he a Hawk, or is he learning? I don't know. I'm trying to think of another team that desperately needs a point guard like that. I don't know. Minnesota? No, probably not. But they also frustrate the hell out of me. So that's why they're down, and why are they even here? Because I don't know. I figured they'd be better this season. And of course they end up trading Hunter at midseason to clear up more time and PT for Risache type. And Okongwu's been pretty decent too. I don't know. I just don't know what the plan is here. And so, yeah, I just kind of have to see it spelled out for me. Orlando is... Where do I want to put Orlando? I'm going to say they're not in a rush, right? Because they still have 2 pillars. You know what I mean? Paolo Franz will keep you competitive, at least. Competitive. Not good, because I think they finished 500, or maybe a game better. Oh my God. But they will keep you competitive. It's about what can you do around them. And like KCP, not having a great go of it. Jalen Suggs is hurt. Guys are missing time. Wendell Carter got hurt like 3 times in the playing game. It looked like he was limping every time I looked at the freaking screen. It was like he was a walking injury. But overall, you have 2 pillars of the franchise, 2 staples that you want around long term. That's already kind of a win in and of itself. But at the same time, you kind of want to win. I get it, Magic fans. You probably want to win because you've been through a long time. Fournier-Vucevic days were definitely some dark times in Orlando. So I can see why they'd want to win now. But at the same time, ease up on the young guys. Detroit, they're just here to have some fun. I don't know if they're even going to win first round against the Knicks. It could go either way. That's one of those series that could really go either way. And a lot of it depends on officiating in my mind. But Detroit has had such a fun season this year that it's like, whatever, bro. If they win, they win. If they don't, okay. They won like 8 games last year. I know it wasn't 8. It was like 12. But either way, it's like they won not many games last year, and now they're here. Yay. Yippee. You know what I mean? They had some fun this year. Malik Beasley dancing. Just don't Giannis getting, oh my God, that was the most petty thing I've ever seen. Malik Beasley getting mad. Giannis taunted him. Giannis taunts everybody. Giannis literally elbowed Jaylen Brown in the freaking chest and then faked him out on a handshake. Giannis is a clown. We know that. Just relax. But I am curious to see Big Beef Stew in a 7-game playoff series. He's going to fight someone. 100% chance. You call it down below in the comments. Who's Isaiah Stewart fighting in a Knicks series? Let me know. Realistically, that is a real question in the comments. Who on the Knicks is Isaiah Stewart going to fight in a 7-game series? Milwaukee. I don't know. I'm going to put them in time is running out simply because it's not fair to have them in Freddie Mercury when they don't have Dame. And Dame won't be ready for game 1. I said that in my predictions video, and that came true. Wow, real good prediction there. But Dame won't be ready for game 1. Don't know if he's even going to be here in the playoffs. I don't know. Nobody knows right now. I need Chris Haynes to tell me, the Dame Whisperer, to tell me everything I need to know, right? And that core is just not good. I don't want to be mean to Bucks fans, but, I'm going to be honest. Kuzma, KPJ, what are we doing? I don't know. There's not enough, is what I'll tell you. There's not enough. And I'm not sure if Chris Middleton makes them a better team, but I don't know. A lot of the Bucks, I don't know how to talk about the Bucks because it's like, yeah, everyone knows Giannis. Giannis is that guy. We know that. Top 4 player in basketball, something like that. And he can control a team. He can beat a team to a bloody pulp if he gets on one. But at the same time, with absolutely no running mate and minimal help, his best perimeter playmaker when Dame isn't there is Kevin Porter Jr. Can I call that team a championship team? Not really. Even though it has Giannis on it, I'm sorry. I can't call it a championship favorite when it's Kevin Porter Jr. as their best perimeter playmaker. Just a poorly constructed roster without Damian Lillard. And even with Dame, they were very underwhelming this season. Whatever. Indiana Pacers. I'm going to say they're not in a rush. They're just here to have some fun, but except they have some expectations. It's moderate expectations. Like, if they can pull a second-round upset, first of all, you got to get out of round 1. Through and through, you got to beat Milwaukee and get out of round 1, which is going to be a tough task because Giannis loves playing the Pacers. He's historically done pretty well there, right? But you make it to the second round, you got to see Cleveland. And if somehow they can pull off an upset and make it to the conference finals, I mean, what an absolute win of a season that would be for them. But if they lose round 2 against Cleveland, it's like, well, they lost to the 1 seed who steamrolled everyone this season, So I don't think I'm going to kill them either way, win or loss. Even though I do like what the Pacers have been doing the last few seasons, I don't think there's that much pressure on them to win this year. I really don't. I think Halliburton had a quote the other day, too, where he basically put pressure on himself and said, yeah, there's expectations this year. We got to make it to the finals or whatever. I love the thought processing, and what else is he going to say? We want to go out first round? No, obviously, you're every team. Brandon Jennings was on an 8 seed saying that they were going to sweep the freaking Heat. Was never going to happen, but you got to have that confidence. You can't just roll over before the game 1. 2 days before the series, they ask you, what's your series prediction? And you're like, yeah, I got the other team in 4. Nobody's going to say that. The Knicks, I'm going to put them in time as running out. It's not an old core, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not a great core. Trust me, New Yorker. I love watching the Knicks. They're like they're the home team for me. You know, of course, like I said before, I'm a Celtics fan, but I like watching the Knicks. They're the home team for me. And Brunson is good. Everyone on their team is very good, but they don't have like that second level, the next level. You know what I mean? They're not a Celtics. They're not a Cleveland. They're not an OKC. They're not even a Lakers, I don't think. Yes, there is expectations for them to win because it's like, yeah, they put all this money into this core. They made a bunch of trades. They traded a bunch of picks for Mikal Bridges. You know, you want to use them picks and everything that you sent away to accrue all this talent. You want to make it worthwhile. But at the same time, I genuinely don't think they're good enough to win a finals. It's mean. And I hate when I say that about a certain team or any team in specific, but I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Like, they just don't have enough, and I don't know what it entails. You can't – everyone has been saying it this season. This is not an original or a new take, but it's hard to win games when you have to hide your best two players because they can't play top-level defense. It becomes really difficult. Boston, I'm going to put them in Freddie Mercury. Yeah, they won the finals last year. But honestly, when you're the reigning champs, there's still a lot of expectations on you. You know, you got to repeat. It's not about, honestly, to the casual and to most NBA fans that aren't Celtics fans, this season is just that. You have to live in the moment. You can't think about, all right, we won the championship last season, which means we can punt this one. No, that's just lazy. You know, the Celtics have put a bunch of money into this team. They're $80 million over the second apron, for Christ's sake. It feels like. It's not obviously true, but they've put a bunch of money into this roster. There's a shitload of talent on the roster, and they just need to win. You know, you go back-to-back, you stamped yourself. If the Celtics go back-to-back, Jason Tatum is stamped. Jaylen Brown is stamped. Drew Holiday's a Hall of Famer, and Al Horford's definitely getting in if you win another ring. But it's tough because I don't want to say there's a ton of expectations on them because they did it last year, but at the same time, expectations don't suddenly drop because you did it last year. It's what you do this year. It's very sad to say because it sounds like what have you done for me recently, not what have you done for me at all, which is kind of unfair. But at the same time, that's how the NBA world works. We only go forward. We can't keep looking backwards. You know what I mean? You're only as good as your latest win. Just kidding. That's not true at all, but you get what I mean. You can't live on last year's winning and be like, all right, we're good on winning this year. No, that's stupid. Cleveland. I'm going to put them in. I don't know where to put them. I don't know. What is the expectation for a Cleveland? Because I'm just going to put it. Jesus, man, this is tough. They're going to go up. That doesn't feel right. They're going to move down. Because simply put, yes, they're the 1 seed. Yes, they look like the best team in the East all season, contending with just about one team in Boston. But at the same time, Donovan Mitchell's under extension. He's there for a while. Garland, I think, has an extension too. Mobley's going to get extended if he hasn't already. And Allen's there, you know. DeAndre Hunter, I think, has a year or two left on his deal. It's not like – I'm going to go look at their payroll real quick. All right, so, yeah, Jared Allen's extended. Evan Mobley's extended. Donovan Mitchell's got a few years left. Darius Garland's extended. DeAndre Hunter's here for 2 more years. Max Strus is here for 2 more years. Isaac Okoro's here for 2 more years. Their core is locked up except for, like, Sam Merrill and Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome might walk in free agency because I don't know if they have the money to extend him. So that's definitely a hit if they lose him in free agency. I don't know, because now I see it and I'm like, well, they have time, but some of their key role players might walk, like a Sam Merrill or a Ty Jerome, who have played very big pieces, or been very big pieces on this team of this year. Craig Porter Jr. is here. I love Craig Porter Jr. So there's not a ton of pressure on them, but I think just being the 1 seed, there's going to be pressure. You know what I mean? Like, you've been beating teams you've been going belt to ass all season on like every team they've played. It's either that or they're coming back from down 20, the Avalanche, right? So there's going to be some pressure on you when you've been belt to assing every team in the league. But at the same time, they're not at the top of the list because they have their entire core locked up. They can afford to run it back next season when you have like the top 6 players on your team locked up for the next 2 years at least. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you are new. 50 plus subs. We're coming up fast. You know how it be around here. We're growing. We grow every day. This is a complete rabble rant. Somebody disliked my video yesterday. I'm going to assume it was a player or a fan of a team that I didn't pick to win it all. Sorry, I can't pick 30 teams to win the NBA Finals. I don't think 30 teams can win the NBA Finals. But if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to catch a game. See you guys in the next one.